हरिः ओम् नमः सर्वेभ्यः। अष्टाध्यायी परिचयः इत्यस्य अद्य विशेषः वर्गः। अस्मिन् वर्गे अष्टाध्यायी.com इति जालपुटस्य प्रयोगं कथं कर्तुं शक्यते इत्यस्मिन् विषये किञ्चित् पाठयामि। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। So welcome everyone once again. In our course, we have completed 2 modules. We have studied most of the basic stuff in Paniniya Vyakarana. And now we are in a position to actually start studying sutras one by one, starting from the next module. So before that, I thought it would be appropriate to spend some time on discussing how best to use the website. There are so many features in the website, and as the course progresses, you will need to use these features more and more often. This is going to be an interactive discussion just like all our other classes. So feel free to raise hand, feel free to send chat messages and I'll reply them. Entire website cannot be explained in one class. It's an effort that has gone over years, and there are so many minor things that are being coded, being implemented. But let's try to take at least the major ones. So let's start with the home page. This is how the home page looks like. Everybody knows this. At the bottom of the home page, there are some important links like Sutra Patha, Dhatu Patha, Shabda Patha, Koshanvesha, that is the Ashtadhyayi Kosha search, dictionary search, list of courses, and there is a more link which is same as the top right button. So this is the common point for all the users of the website to go to any feature on the website. This button does not change ever. So you can always click this button and all the pages, all the features, even the new additions that will be done to the website in the future will all be available over here. So that's about the right side navigation button. On the other hand, there will be a left side navigation button that will appear on various pages. So for example, if you go to Sutra Patha, there is a left side navigation button on the Sutra Patha. This is specific to the Sutra Patha. Similarly, if you go to Dhatu Patha, I think the video recording is slightly lagging, but that's okay. So if you go to the Dhatu Patha and go to individual Dhatu, say Bhusattayam, still you will see a left button which is specific to the Dhatu functionality. So always remember this difference. The left side button is specific to the page that you are viewing. The right side button is always constant and it will help you traverse across different pages of the website. Let us go to the home page again. The next point I want to discuss is the search bar. So we have the search bar on the top. This search bar allows you to search various pages, various properties across ashtadhyayi.com. The search bar is tuned to search the stuff that is specifically on the property or on the page that you are at. So for example, if you go to Sutra Patha and if you search, say for example, let me search a random word, say Deva, what it is going to show you is the list of sutras that contain the word Deva, because that's what you were seeing earlier before the search was done. However, if you want to do the same search query across other pages, like say for example, Dhatu Patha, Shabda Patha, and so on, this left hand menu, which is specific to the search property, is going to be helpful. So if you click this left menu, it will allow you to change the search location. So you can now see the Sutra Patha is selected by default. If you select Dhatu Patha, then the Deva is going to be searched in Dhatu Patha. If you, on the other hand, select Shabda Patha, Deva is going to be selected in the Shabda Patha. So anytime you search anything, the left-hand side menu will allow you to search the same query across various properties that are available on the website. And more interestingly, remember you started your search from the Sutra Patha, so that context is still memorized. So whenever you are done with the search, you will go back to the page of Sutra Patha and you can continue your browsing from there. So there are a lot of more interesting things about search bar, but I'll talk about it a little bit later. Let's talk about the footer. The footer which is present at the navigation bar present at the bottom of the website is actually pretty powerful. Lots of useful features are available in this footer. All the way on the left, you see a cog wheel type of icon. I'm hovering over there. That is the settings menu. It will open up from the left hand side and it will give some really interesting tweaks that you can do on the website. There are three important components. More might get added as the website progresses, but there is a component or there is a section called actions. Then there is a section called preferences, and then there is a section called advanced settings. Let's click actions. The most important parts in the actions is the offline mode. So this website or the app, whatever you use, you can use it in a fully offline mode without connecting to the internet by clicking enable offline mode. So when you click enable offline mode, I'm not clicking it right now because it takes around 2 to 3 minutes to fetch the entire data from the server and create a package on your browser or inside your phone, which then you can access without connecting to the internet. This option is pretty useful for people who are not regularly connected to the internet. But if you are one of those users who are mostly connected to the internet, I will not recommend you use enable offline mode, because this offline mode also means that you are going to use a previous or a stale version of the app. And when newer changes are pushed on the website, it will be a slight delay before you get these features on your phone. So as long as possible, try to stay in the online mode. But for example, if you're traveling, if you're going through a say 15 hours flight, 16 hours flight, or you're going to a remote area where internet is not stable, you can definitely use offline mode and use it without any kind of problem. Sometimes if a problem comes, because obviously it is a software at the end of the day, some bugs might crawl in here and there. So if a problem comes and it cannot be resolved, then you can also do an app reset. App reset will mean it is as if the old app is being removed and the new app is being installed on your phone, or whatever cache, whatever settings have been set, they all will be restored to their default values. The way to do app reset is use this actions menu and simply select the first two options, reset cache and reset app data. Don't select the third option, because if you select the third option, it is as if you have completely uninstalled the app and installed it. There are some important settings I'm going to talk about it. These are called user data, and these will, you don't want these to be removed. These is some very valuable information for your own reference later on. So do not say reset user data. Select remaining two and click the reset button, and the app will be as new as will go back to the newest mode, but with your data still intact. I'll talk about what this user data is in a minute. So this is all about the actions. Second menu is about the preferences. This first, there are three options over here. More might get added in near future. The first preference, when to start the search. So what happens is, by default, the search bar is customized to start the search as soon as a key is typed. So for example, I'm just going to type the letter the, and I've not done anything. I'm not pressed enter or anything like that. And all the search is in front of me. Now, this is okay for somebody who types very fast. But if you are a slight slow typer, or if you are on a phone where interaction is slightly slower, then this kind of immediate response coming from the software is sometimes problematic, because then you are typing something else and then the page is rendering something else, and then there might be some kind of disconnect. Therefore, a lot of users requested that they would like to explicitly start the search. And therefore, this option was added for them. So when to start the search, the default setting is on every key press, but you can change it to say on enter key press. When you select this option, now you can write whatever you want, say Deva Brahma, and no search is going to happen. Only when you press an enter, I just pressed an enter explicitly on the keyboard, only at that time the search is going to happen. Again, I remove some words, the search is not going to happen. Now I'm going to explicitly press enter on my keyboard. After pressing enter, the new results are now available. In this way, personally, I prefer search on every key press because the computer over here is fast enough. But if you are one of those who is getting confused because of or with the speed in which the website is responding, and it is faster as more than what you expect, then you can actually start the search on the enter key press. The second preference is called a screen wake lock. So this is specifically designed for people who are seeing the website on mobile phones. So what happens is, if you open a Sutra page and if you keep on reading, almost all of us know that if there is some kind of inactivity for say 30 seconds or say 1 minute, the setting is maybe different from phone to phone. But usually when there is some kind of inactivity for a certain period of time, the screen gets dim and then suddenly the screen lock is activated and the content will disappear. In order to avoid that, this particular screen wake lock setting must be enabled. It is enabled by default when you access the website on the phone. So the way this works is that on the computer, it is disabled by default, and on the mobile phones, it is enabled by default. But I'm just giving this information so that at any point in time, if you see the screen getting dimmed while you are reading the sutra description or dhatu description and so on, it is most likely because this particular setting has been changed for some reason. You can go over here and switch it back to enabled. The name of the setting is wake lock. So when you say enabled, the screen will remain awake for an extended period of time. So this is about screen wake lock. The third is about the transliteration scheme. Transliteration scheme is what kind of input you give to the search box. So many of you are aware that there are various transliteration schemes. Say iTrans is there, SLP1 is there, IAST is there, and so on. We support all of them. The default is auto, which means you can write whatever you want and it will exactly predict the scheme and it will give the result of that you for that scheme. So for example, DEV will be interpreted as they were to which irrespective of whichever screen it belongs to. And then obviously Devanagari, which is my favorite one, is always supported. So you can always use Devanagari and that will be faster than using transliteration. So that's about these three preferences: when to start the search, screen wake lock, and transliteration scheme. The next section, advanced settings, is not for general users. So you do not need to worry about advanced settings at all. It is mostly for me to help you debugging. So sometimes some users are not able to navigate to a certain page. And then when I have to communicate with them, this is the advanced settings that I use to tell them to do certain actions. And then I get the log from them, which helps me to find out what the exact issue is. So we don't need to worry about this advanced settings. So that's basically the left section about the settings. The right section on the footer, this envelope type of icon is basically the feedback. So a feedback window will come from the right. Many of you might have already written to me using the feedback over here. I get every feedback and I read every feedback very carefully. The only thing I don't do is reply to every feedback, because most of the feedbacks are basically expressing thank you or acknowledgement of for this making such a wonderful portal and so on. And then there are a bunch of feedbacks where some typos have been pointed out or some feature request has been done and so on. And it doesn't really make sense to reply to these kind of feedbacks. It's an additional work for me. So I usually don't reply to these feedbacks. Only once in a while where there is some kind of actual Vyakarana question that's being asked on the feedback, I will reply it. But even if you don't get a reply from me, please understand that I'm reading all the feedbacks, all the feature requests are logged in, all the bugs are logged in, and once in a month or once in say 2 months, whenever I get time, I just sit and fix all of those issues to the best of my capacity. So this is basically the feedback button. The next button is very interesting. This is a full screen button. So what happens is there are many users who feel that the font used on the website is smaller and they will usually zoom the website a lot. So for example, let's go to this kind of structure. I mean, now it might have appeared on your screen. So if you go to this particular sutram called Deva Brahmanor Anudaptaha, I think now it might have appeared on your screen. Now we can see that almost the entire page is being occupied by the top menu and the search bar and just the Padacheda and so on. And the actual Kashika Siddhanta Kaumudi, you just cannot scroll properly. In fact, if you go to say Vruddhiradait Sutram, where there is a lot of interesting content, Vruddhiradait, you can actually see that not more than 3 or 4 lines are visible because you have zoomed in. The way to fix this problem is use these full screen button to make the page as a full screen. So let me now click this button. And when I click this button, I think it's still lagging in the video. Now it must have appeared. So when you click this button, what happens is everything is gone and only the central window is visible. Now a lot of content is very easily visible. You can see that entire content. You can read it properly. A lot of space on the screen is available. The right menu is also available. And obviously, when you want to go back to the original, you just click that zoom in button once again or full screen button once again, and you will be back to the original structure. So let's remove this zoom and let's reset it to say 110. So this is basically the zoom but full screen button that's available on the right side. So we covered the left side and the right side of the footer. Let's talk about this middle buttons. This left arrow and right arrow, which you see at the two ends, are basically the left and the right navigations. They exactly like how the left and right buttons on the browser work. But inside app, you don't have those buttons from the browser. So these buttons are specifically added to mimic that behavior. So for example, if you use this back button, you will go to the search results. If you use another back button, you will go to Deva Brahmano Ranudattaha. Press it once again, the search results for Deva will appear, and so on. So in this way, the back button and obviously the forward button will help you navigate the set of pages that you have been visiting on the website. The immediate next button is the share icon, and this button will allow you to share your current view or what you are seeing to your friends and other contacts. So I'll show you how this works. Let's go to Vruddhirada each page. Let's say, for example, you are reading Mahabhashyam. The Mahabhashya commentary is highlighted in yellow color. And now if you click this share button, now I don't think you are able to see because a new window is appearing on my computer where share on WhatsApp, share on email, and so on. Simple options are there, but all of you are probably aware how that share menu looks like on your phone. Also, you can try pressing this button and similar menu will come up. Now what I'm going to do on my computer is I'm just going to copy the link. So whatever is the link, share to WhatsApp, share to messages, share to email, and so on, I'm going to copy the link. I have copied that link. Now I'll go to a different tab on the website. Assume that I'm sending this link to a friend of mine. So I just pasted the link. This exactly you can paste in WhatsApp, email, and so on. And when you press enter, now it's lagging over here, but now you can see that the exact same view along with that yellow color and Mahabhashya being highlighted and so on is now available to your friend. So you can use this. So for example, you found out a Rupa called Babhuva. Say for example, you go to that Rupa, you get the link, you send it to a friend, and then they will exactly land on that particular page. So in this way, you can share the exact same location of website amongst each other while discussing something. So this is all about the share button. The next button, very interesting, is a bookmark button, which will allow you to create your custom bookmarks. So for example, you are, let's say, studying the Ach Sandhi Prakaranam of Siddhanta Kaumudi. So every time, the way to go over there is every time use the right menu, then search where Siddhanta Kaumudi is. So here is Siddhanta Kaumudi, and then go to this 3 number Ach Sandhi Prakaran. So these are multiple keystrokes. But every time you want to land to this page. Now the way to speed these things up is to press this bookmarks button and add a bookmark for this page inside the app. So when you press the bookmarks button, the bookmark menu appears from the left. Now I have already created 2 bookmarks, one for Siddhanta Kaumudi, one for Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. You can click this link bookmark current page to create the bookmark of the page that you are currently on. So you were currently on this Siddhanta Kaumudyam Ach Sandhi Prakaranam. So when you click this bookmarks button and get the bookmark bar, you can simply click on bookmark current page. The link is already populated for you, and then you can write a name for your bookmark. So let's say, let me write the name of my bookmark as Siddhanta Kaumudi Ach Sandhi something something. And then let's save this. Once I save this, I can go to any page on the website, maybe Dhatu Patha, Ganapatha, and so on. But anytime I click the bookmarks button, I'm going to see the SK Ach Sandhi as the entry. And as soon as I click that, I'm going to land on the page for which the bookmark was made. So this is nothing but your customized right hand menu. So the top right side button is going to give you a menu which is common across all the users of the website, whereas the bookmarks is your customized right hand menu. You can create as many bookmarks as you want. You can edit the name of the bookmark by clicking the pencil icon, or you can delete a certain bookmark by clicking the trash can icon. So this is about the bookmarks. The immediate next button, which looks like a document with a folded corner, is yet another very interesting feature. It is about the user notes. So for example, let's say, if you're studying the Iko Yanachi Sutram, let me wait till the Sutram appears on your, okay. So Iko Yanachi Sutram, and you want to create some your own notes about Iko Yanachi. All that you do is you click on this notes button, which is next to the bookmarks. You click on this notes button, a menu will appear on the right side. It is called your study notes. So it is a convenient way to store and access your study notes. These study notes are like those sticky yellow stickies. Consider them equivalent to this. So here you can say my study notes for Iko Yanachi and something. So you might write more details about your study notes, your own examples or your own explanation for Iko-Yanachi. Please understand, each page has a separate study note. So if you go to the next sutram, Echo Yavaya Vaha, the study notes are again empty. You can now write, say, new study notes for 6178. So new study notes for Echo Yavaya Vaha and so on. And at some other point in time, maybe 2 days later, 3 days later, when you go back to Iko-Yanachi and click on the study notes, this is fun because why it's not available, I don't know. It should have been available. Okay, maybe I did not save, but you see new study notes for 6178 is available. Let's go back to study notes and say oh, I probably did not save my study notes for Iko Yanachi. And then all the notes are saved automatically. So this note should be saved. And then if I go to the next one, there is new study notes for 6178. And then there is my study notes for Ikoirachi. So something must have a miss from my side. Never mind. So in this way, each page has its own separate study notes. And then from the right hand side, there is a menu towards the end. You have the menu of bookmarks and study notes. So you can click the menu of study notes over here. Oh, now I'll tell you what happened. The study notes that were added, and this is actually an important point. The study notes that were added earlier were added on SK47 Sutram and not on 6177 Sutram. So if you go to SK47 Sutram, you can see the study notes that I added earlier, my study notes for Iko-Yanachi, whereas study notes for 6177 Sutram, which is again Iko-Yanachi, but accessed to a different page, has different set of notes. So the point to understand is each URL has separate kind of study notes. And obviously the study notes page which is present over here will list all your study notes over here. You can access individual study notes, you can change them and so on, and everything is saved automatically. Now, how to download? Somebody is asking, can I export the study notes? You can download the study notes. So there is this tool, but before that, let me read this particular warning because it is very important. Please note that all your study notes are stored directly inside the app's cache. They are not stored on our servers. No communication happens to our servers in context of these study notes. Similarly for bookmarks. Therefore, if you lose the study notes for any reason, maybe you format the data, or maybe your phone breaks and you take a new phone and install the app and so on, we cannot retrieve them for you. And this is the user data that I have been talking. So if you go to these preferences, if you go to these actions, and if you click reset user data and then click reset, all your user data is going to be removed. But don't click user data, simply click reset cache and reset app data, and then the app will get reset, but your user data will be retained as it is. So this is the user data. it is stored on your computer. So for some reason your computer gets affected with virus, you reinstall your browser or something happens. If it's gone, it's gone. Therefore, it's a very important point to understand that these should not be taken as permanent locations like YouTube comments. They are permanent. It will come, the comment will stay as long as Google allows it. It's not like that. Here, use them as a scratch pad, and please download the study notes on a regular basis. So simply click the download button. You will get a menu from the left hand side. You can download the study notes as TXT. You can download the study notes as JSON. I have a feature in the pipeline where I want to upload the study notes in form of TXT and JSON, but it's not yet implemented. I'll implement it at some point in time. But once that feature is added, you will be able to download and upload the study notes on your own. This way, these study notes are accessible from the footer. So this completes the discussion of the left section, the right section, and the middle section, and that completes the discussion of the home page. Now there are a few questions over here on chat. I'll take them, and if you have any questions in this particular initial context, I'm happy to answer them. So the question is, how long the app stays offline if you choose the app offline mode? The app permanently stays offline if you choose the offline mode. The app is tuned to fetch the new data. So what happens is, if you are in the offline mode and if you somehow connect to the internet, and if you are using the app for a long amount of time, the app will wait, because the very fact that you are saying it's an offline mode means the internet connectivity is fragile, it's not stable. So app will wait for a small amount of a little stable internet connectivity, and when it understands that there is some amount of stable connectivity, it will try to fetch the latest data. So for example, if you have synced the app in an offline mode and are connected to the internet for a significant amount of time, you will get the latest changes at some or the other point in time. But what happens is, the offline mode is basically an instruction to the app to use what is there on the app rather than connecting it from taking it from the server. So usually there is a large amount of a longer delay than what you would expect. Therefore, my recommendation is, as much as possible, do that your usage in the online mode, but offline mode will work, and offline mode will remain forever. So there is no limit for which the offline mode will not work. So that's all basically for the home page. Let's go ahead. Let's look at the list of features. Let's start from the top. So you have this is a lot of delay. Are you able to see the now you should be able to see the right menu, right? I don't know why there is so much delay. Okay, anyway, so you can see Shiva Sutrani. I mean, most of you know all these individual pages. You have been using that for quite long. So Shiva Sutrani is basically all the 14 individual sutras. There is an audio icon over there. You click that, and then you will be able to hear the audio of Ayuna Ruluka and so on. Click on any individual Shiva Sutram. This commentary on the top is my own commentary, and then there is a Kashika commentary for that particular Shiva Sutram. So remember, in case of I ouch, we have seen pratyahareshu anubandhanam kathamajgrahaneshu na. So there is this particular Kashika commentary which says pratyahare anubandhanam kathamajgrahaneshu na acharada pradhanatvat lopascha balavattaraha. So you see this over here in Kashika. And now there is a left hand side menu over here. If you open the left hand side menu, remember left hand side menu is specific to that page. So now you can access any Shiva Sutram in whatever order. So directly jumping to say Jabagadadash, here is the Jabagadadash Sutram with my commentary on the top and Kashika at the bottom. So this is about the Shiva Sutra. There are a few raised hands, but I'll come to them in a moment. The next one is Pratyaharavali. We have seen this page again in our course. Two types of Pratyaharas, the Shiva Sutra based Pratyaharas and the Ashtadhyayi Sutra based Pratyaharas. So there is nothing new over here. The next one is interesting, Sutra Patha. Actually, let's take questions before we go to Sutra Patha. It will take a while to discuss all these aspects of Sutra Patha. So Chandra Mauli Mahoday.
So let's go back to the Shiva Sutrani. And if I have to, at that Shiva Sutrani level, search through the Vyakhyanam, how do I do that?
Right. So if, for example, if you want to search through, say, let's say,
across the Shiva Sutrani.
Right. So for example, let's say Trayanam. You want to search for this word Trayanam, right?
Correct.
So the Trayanam word, I don't think there is an option. I'll add it. I mean, it's easy. I can add an option to search in the Shiva Sutras. Should not take time.
In fact,
Basically,
actually not in Shiva Sutra. I was trying to search something in Sudhatika that I remember reading. I could not go back.
okay, so any commentary on Ashtadhyayi, you can always use the Ashtadhyayi Vyakhyanani over here. So if you click on Ashtadhyayi Vyakhyanani, the same word Trayanam is available across all commentaries of Ashtadhyayi. Now you can see only Sutraata, but here, for example, you can see Balanamanava is being searched, and then let's take a different one, say Sagamata. Now you can see this word in Mahabhashyam and Tattva Bodhini and so on. So
Okay.
Ashtadhyayi Vyakhyanani is an option to search everywhere in all the commentaries.
Got it. Okay. Thanks.
Ratnakar Mahoday.
Acharya, namaste, Acharya. Very sorry that. In fact, it is my doubt is not exactly about the website, but the one what you just said, Acharya apradhanatvat balavattara lopascha. After at the end of the class, would you please explain once again?
I'll explain.
Somehow I missed that. I don't know why.
No problem. If not today, then in tomorrow's class I'll take it up. Not an
Yeah,
issue.
please,
Okay.
please.
Okay, so no more raised hands. So I'm lowering the hands, but if people want to raise hands, they can raise hand again. Vidya Bhagini.
Namaste, Madhya.
Namaste.
How do you search within a page other than Control F or Alt F or whatever the browser?
Which page you want to? So you don't need to search in a page, right? I mean, if you specifically want to search in that page, there is only Control F at the moment.
Okay, because it's not reliable, at least on my browser, so it's not fetching the right thing.
I'll try to add that as a feature. So for example, you are saying you specifically want to search on this particular page.
Yes, on this page, I want to search for some particular word.
Yeah, so no, I mean, there is a way around it. So for example, you can say, for example, this word Anuvritti Rupena, you know you're searching on Vriddhi Radhej. So go to Ashtadhyayi Vyakhyanani and only see the part of Vriddhi Radhej. That way, search, but it's a longer route. There is no...
Not only is that, Mode, sometimes the results are too much that it is manual. Like some of our homeworks, at least, searching through this. Of course, you're probably giving it intentionally, but if that's a real reason why we need to search, it's too much to search with this.
Okay, I'll make a note of this. Okay, no worries.
The other reason why I'm asking is Anuvritti Rupena is a good way. It's a Shabda that I can search. But sometimes I don't know what some of these will exist. So I'll only have half a letter to search on, and then I'll get 200 matches. So
a valid use case. I'll make a note of this. I'll try to add some way to be able to search only on that specific page. I'll think about it.
Any other way?
Absolutely. Any other suggestions, questions? Okay, so let's go to the Sutra Patha. So I want to spend time specifically for Sutra Patha and Dhatu Patha because they are the crux, they're the most important part of the website. So let's go to this particular Sutra Patha. Obviously, in front, you see the list of all sutras in the red color. You will know most of these things. We have gone through these in our course. The blue ones are the Vartika, so Rulu, Varna, Yoho, Mitha, Savadam, Vacham, and so on. The numbering on the right-hand side is Kaumudi numbering. It should not come as a surprise by now that Kaumudi has completely messed up with the order of Ashtadhyayi Sutras. So you can see the random list of numbers over here. There is a left menu over here. I have not gone to the individual sutra page yet. I am only on the list of sutras, and there is a left menu over here. And this left menu will allow you to reorder sutras in multiple different ways. Now, don't ask me why would you need that. Some people need it, different people need it for different reasons, but I'll just walk you through what kind of ordering is there. So obviously the default is Ashtadhyayi Krama. Some people also want an ordering in Akara Kramaha. Then the list of sutras in the Kaumudi order. So Kaumudi Kramaha. Basically, Kaumudi has a small amount of sutras being ignored. So understand this. This is also, I mean, something we should have learned in the course. Ashtadhyayi has a total of 3983 sutras in the version that it appears on the website. Siddhanta Kaumudi omits around 5 sutras from this particular list. Why? Because Kaumudikara believes that those 5 are not sutras at all, but they are Vartikas. So for example, if you go to the sutram, say Vruddhasya cha pujayam, there is a sutram in 4.1, Vruddhasya cha pujayam. You can see the Kaumudi number is 0 over here. So Kaumudikara says that this is actually a Vartika. It is not a sutra. Kashikakara gives it as a sutra. So if you go to Kashika, Kashikakara defines it as a sutra. And the Sutra Patha is doing the numbering based on Kashika. But Siddhanta Kaumudi believes that it is not a sutra. So this kind of difference of opinion comes for 5 sutras. And that's exactly the reason why in Siddhanta Kaumudi, let's go back to the original ordering. So that's why in Siddhanta Kaumudi, there are 5 sutras less. But other than that, all the Ashtadhyayi sutras are present in Siddhanta Kaumudi. They can be ordered with Kaumudi Kramaha. So if you click on Kaumudi Kramaha in the left menu, now you can see Kaumudi 1, Kaumudi 2, Kaumudi 3, Kaumudi 4. So all the sutras are being ordered in Siddhanta Kaumudi. Similarly, the books like Madhya Siddhanta Kaumudi, Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, Sara Siddhanta Kaumudi, and so on, we have learned that these are all books by Varadaraja. Paramalaghu Siddhanta Kaumudi is there. So for each of these books, there is a krama that is specific to that book. Then there is a list of those sutras in Ashtadhyayi krama. So very useful actually. If you click on Ashtadhyayi krama inside Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi Sutrani, you will see all sutras of Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, but in Ashtadhyayi order. The more interesting thing is, if you click on any such sutram, the right side menu, the right side navigation button will show you the sutras in the Laghu Kaumudi order because you came from the Laghu Kaumudi page. Whereas if you let's do this again. So if instead of going from the Laghu Kaumudi page, if you say, for example, go to say Laghu Paniniya Sutrani, you go to Laghu Paniniya Kramaha and click on the first sutram, now it will allow you to navigate through the Laghu Paniniyam page. So this page remembers from where you came from and it will allow you to navigate in exactly the same order. The default is obviously the Siddhanta Kaumudi. Where I'm going back. The default is obviously the Siddhanta Kaumudi and the Ashtadhyayi order. So if you go to the normal Ashtadhyayi Krama, it's going to take you back to Kaumudi order on one side and Ashtadhyayi order on the other side. So that's about the left menu. Then we'll go to the individual sutra page. On the individual sutra page, there is a list of before that. On the top, there is the Ashtadhyayi Sutra number based navigation on the left, and then there is a Siddhanta Kaumudi based navigation on the right. And as I mentioned, it might change to Paramalaghu Kaumudi or Laghu Kaumudi, Sara Kaumudi, Laghu Paniniyam based on which location you come from. But by default, it is the Kaumudi based navigation. Then there is a sutram followed by the audio of the sutram. Then there are a bunch of commentaries and there is a quick access to all these commentaries. So if you just click, for example, on say Praudha Manorama, it will directly scroll you to Praudha Manorama and highlight in the yellow color. Then you have, let me walk you through the elements of the page. So you have Padacheda, Anuvritti, the basic aspects of the sutra. Then the next important part is my own commentary. I tend to call it Ashtadhyayi Mugdha Bodha. So this, I have written it only for a few set of sutras, but I plan to write it for all sutras at some point in time. A lot of details will be available in this particular commentary in simple Sanskrit. The entire commentary is written in simple Sanskrit. Then you have the commentary by the grammarian called S.C. Vasu, very famous commentary. It's not actually my favorite, but very famous amongst people who are not able to understand the Shastra-based Sanskrit in Kashika and Siddhanta Kaumudi. So this is a commentary that is a good enough approximation, but written in English. Then you have Kashika and the two commentaries on Kashika, which is Nyasa and Padamanjari. Then you have Siddhanta Kaumudi, two commentaries on Siddhanta Kaumudi, Bala Manorama and Tattva Bodhini. Then you have Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, two commentaries on Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, Sudha Tika and Sarala Tika. And then two more advanced commentaries on Siddhanta Kaumudi, Praudha Manorama and Laghu Shabdendu Shekhara. Finally, Mahabhashyam. We are planning to add more and more commentaries. There are so many, at least 10-15 more commentaries are available on Ashtadhyayi, which are not seen over here. The work continues. But this is the list of commentaries that are available over here. Now, next to each commentary, you can see that square with an arrow pointing upwards. This button will take you to the book format for that commentary. So for example, if you click this particular button in front of Siddhanta Kaumudi, it is going to take you to a specific interface where only Siddhanta Kaumudi sutras are being written. So now here you can see that you are in the Samnya Prakaranam of Siddhanta Kaumudi, and all the sutras of Siddhanta Kaumudi are available in sequence. So if you are specifically interested only in Siddhanta Kaumudi, this is the way to access all the sutra meanings in Siddhanta Kaumudi. This also is the same as the Sutra Patha Vyakhyanani. So on the right menu, you have a completely separate section of Sutra Patha Vyakhyanani, where each Vyakhyana is presented as a separate book format, a commentary. So entire SC Vasu book. So you can see the entire SC Vasu book is present over here. Similarly, entire Kashika Nyasa Padamanjari, each book is present separately over here. And of course, you can access the same commentary from the individual sutra page as well. So we talked about the quick links. Let's talk about the left menu. Before that, let me go to Vruddhi Radej. So on any individual sutra page, there is this left menu. You can open the left menu and you can see the list of sutras where the current sutra is highlighted. So let's go somewhere in the middle. Let's say Vamshasoho. Some of you might remember it. It's from one of the homeworks, I think, or the test. So Vamshasoho is the sutram. If you open the left menu, you can see all the sutras of Ashtadhyayi with the Vamshasoho sutram being highlighted in the middle. In the commentary, you can see a lot of cross references. A cross reference always consists of three components. There is a name of the sutram. So for example, in Stri plus in this particular description that I have written, I have quoted a sutram called Ami Purvaha. I have quoted a number called 61107. And then there is this anchor type of symbol. I'll walk you through what each of these is. This Ami Purvaha is simply the sutram. It is not clickable over here. The number 61107, if you click this number, it will take you to the sutra page of Ami Purvaha. So just click on 61107 and it will take you to Ami Purvaha. Let's go back to Vamsha Soho because I want to show what this third button is. So this third button is anchor. The anchor button allows you to open the left side menu focusing Ami Purvaha in the context of current sutram. So just press the anchor button and it will scroll back all the way to 61107 and it will say that Ami Purvaha is present over here in 61107. The use of this particular feature is when you open this menu with the anchor, you can see Ami Purvaha with sutras around it, which will allow you probably to find out or remember the utsargas, apavadas, and so on for that sutra. So anchor is also a very useful feature that will keep you on this particular page, because clicking on 61107 is going to take you to a different page, whereas the anchor will keep you on this particular page and will open the left menu with that particular sutra in focus. So that is about the quick links left menu. We have talked about left and right navigation. I mentioned about dynamic right navigation. So that's this right navigation which changes as per the commentary. So depending on the location from where you came, this right navigation changes. Let me talk about this cross reference in Padacheda. So if you go to the Padacheda, you can actually see all the words in the Padacheda, even in the Anuvrutti, are clickable. The purpose is when you, let's take this Anuvrutti and there is this Achi word which is clickable. If you click the word Achi, it is going to take you to an all the way different page which is called Ashtadhyayi Shabdanukramaha. It's also available in the right side on the Sadhanani section. It will basically tell you which all sutras in Ashtadhyayi has the word Achi used in it. In both ways, Sakshat Prayogaha, so directly used, and apratyaksha prayogaha. So the word is used along with anuvritti, apakarsha, manduka, pluti, and so on. So all these sutras have the word achi, and then you can have the related word. So for example, ati. So ati is used in these particular sutras. You can go to adhi, is used in these particular sutras, and so on. So basically, all the words of Ashtadhyayi interlinked with each other with the sutras that directly use those words and they use by anuvritti, apakarsha, all is available as a for reference over here. So that's the cross reference in Padacheda. Anchor cross links to individual commentaries and searching across all commentaries. So that's basically you search for any particular word, say Deva, and you go to the left hand side menu and you go to Ashtadhyayi Vyakhyanani, you will be able to search across all the commentaries. So that's basically searching across all the commentaries. This completes Sutra Patha. So let me take a lot of questions have appeared over here. Let me take these questions and then I'll go to the Dhatu Patha section. So a quick question on Vartikas. Are all Vartikas listed on the Sutra list page? So as far as I remember, all Vartikas are listed on the Sutra list page. Maybe one or two are missing over here they were missing in the printed book. But as far as I remember, all the Vartikas are listed on the Sutra list page. The next question is, how do you define a Vartika versus Sutra versus Paribhasha? It appears that the line is blurred. So in the commentaries, the color is almost the same. So I think I have used a purple color for the Vartikas and the blue color for the Sutras. But other than that, Paribhashas and so on are all in blue color. So the question is, and forget about colors on the website. The question is, how do you distinguish between a Vartika and Sutra and Paribhasha? Well, a sutra is the one that appears in Ashtadhyayi and it will be shown explicitly in the blue color. Vartika is explicitly the quotation from the Vartikakara. It will be shown in the purple color. Other paribhashas and all that, I will explicitly mention it is a paribhasha or anything like that. I think we can change the color as well. But other than that, you just have to look into that particular book to see if it is a paribhasha, if it is a Vartika, and so on. There is a next question which says, I would like to know whether all these books are available in the market as hard copies. So I think you are talking about all these books over here. All these books are available in the market as hard copies. And yeah, I mean, not just one, from multiple publishers, they are available from in the market as hard copies. Yes. Somebody is saying they are available on archive.org. Most of them should be available on archive.com. Then there is a question, Mugdha Bodha Vyakhyanam Kutra Asti. So this is basically my own commentary and I just gave a name and we're just writing the commentary. So it's not available separately anywhere. You just go to the individual page and if there is a commentary. So for example, a lot of sutras don't have that commentary. Now I have to search for a sutra. But randomly, if you say, for example, 5, say 7, 4, 12. So there is no commentary. So Shrudru Pram Rasvova. So I think 30 or 35% sutras have my commentary. Most of them I'm adding. Once the commentary gets added, multi-years work actually. But once the commentary gets added, I'll add a separate section or maybe create a PDF also. But we'll add a separate section to the right side menu. Then there is a question, only achi or acham or other vibhakti forms in the cross reference. So for now, the cross reference will be verbatim word. So for example, if you go to the Ashtadhyayi, where is this? Shabdanukramaha, searching for achi is going to only search for achi. Searching for acham is going to only give reference to acham. It would be very ideal if achi will tell you that this is saptami ekvachanam of ach and acham is shashti bahuvachanam and so on. It's a very interesting project, but I honestly don't have time and nobody has asked for this. So this is definitely at a low priority in my list. If somebody of you wants to work on this project, this is going to take a lot of time. It's not like 1 week, 2 week job. Lot of work is to be done. But if somebody of you is interested, reach out to me and I'll guide you. We will finally put the work on the website. Then there is a next question over here. How do you find the vyutpatti of the words? So that's basically a little bit out of scope for today, but I will still explain. The vyutpatti of the word can be found mainly using the kosha. So there is a separate section of koshanveshanam. We have not gone over there, but there is this separate section of koshanveshanam. So you go to koshanveshanam and may, for example, I'm randomly writing words. Say Ravi, for example. There will be some vyutpatti in Shabdakalpadruma. So Vyutpatti is always given as the first line in Shabdakalpadruma and in Vachaspatyam. So Ruyate, Stuyate, Iti, Ihi. Let's take Surya actually. All of you know where Surya comes from, right? So we studied it recently in our course. So it's there in Rajasuya Surya Mrushodya. So maybe one of the commentaries. Now, I don't know why these commentaries don't say Rajasuya. Rajasuya Surya. So multiple ways to derive are there. So Rajasuya, Shabdakalpadruma says is derived using Su Dhatu plus Adhikarana Kyapa. And how do you get this Adhikarana Kyapa? It is by this Rajasurya, Surya, Mrushodya, Rucha, and so on. 31114 for Nipatana Dirgha. So remember, this is a Nipatana Sutra. We took an example of this Sutram in Nipatanam. So basically, the question was, how do you find Vyutpatti of a word? The only way is Kosha, and there also only Shabda Kalpadruma and Vachaspatyam. Do not use any other Kosha for studying Vyutpatti. It might not be authoritative. I think I have addressed all the questions. Ratnakar Mahoday.
Probably you will address this particularly tomorrow. Actually, when I see a sutra, what is that first of all I should look for in the sutra and around the sutra?
Correct. So this is something that we will learn as the course progresses. So that's something we will probably start learning from next week. Okay.
And second question is, would you please give the list of books that were written on grammar, like Sudha, Tiko, all these things there were there. But the writers, basically, I do not know, Padamanjari, all these things. If I search the web, probably that might pop up some info. But as far as your website is concerned, that doesn't give anything, I think.
So there is no direct reference, but for example, if you go to Bala Manorama, it which says Vasudeva Dikshita Virichita Siddhanta Kaumudi Vyakhya Bala Manorama. So the title will give you the name of the author. Or for example, if you go to say Praudha Manorama, Srimad Bhattoji Dikshita Virichita Praudha Manorama. So you go to any Vyakhyana, the title will give you the name of the author. So this
at
is
one place, it might not
we can
appear.
say, I mean, I'll send you, we'll discuss it on the group. I'll send a list. That should not be an issue.
Okay,
I think it's there
fine.
in one of the PPTs as well. We should be able to, it's there in one of the slide decks where we studied Ashtadhyayi Granthas. Okay.
Okay.
It's also there in, if you go, for example, here in not study notes, my own write-ups, where is this Vyakarana Lekha section? There is a section called Vyakarana Lekha. If in Vyakarana Lekha, Panini Vyakarana se Grantha Parampara, if you open up this PDF number 3, I'm not opening right now, but you'll see the list of all the authors and all the books and so on. Everything is detailed out over there.
Okay. Okay.
Sudhavalli. Namaste.
Namaste, Mahoday. Regarding Anuvrutti, when we see on the website, can you please show the some sutra which has in this Anuvrutti, whether the Anuvrutti is starting from the coming from which sutra, it is not indicated.
It's indicated
like
no?
that.
So Anuvrutti Achi from 677.
66 it is indicated, but it is used in it is not in the next sutra. Say that is Anuvrutti, from where it is coming, it is given, but in the 677 Anuvrutti, whether it is given.
Oh, so you are saying, is Achi going as Anuvrutti down the line is not given over here?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, but that is correct, but I'm not very sure what is the use of that. So if you look at Iko Yanachi Sutram, and if I tell you, well, Achi is an Anuvrutti that goes till 61124, what is the point of that knowledge? I mean, you can do 100 more features, but what is the point of that knowledge? So
one question, that is while writing the Ekavakyata, that Anuvrutti will help, no?
Anuvrutti will help in the Sutram. So Ekavakyata is going to, Anuvrutti of Achi for Ekavakyata is going to help in Echo Yavayavaha. And therefore Anuvrutti is given over here. But if you look at Iko Yanachi, if I tell you Achi goes as an Anuvrutti from here to 20 more sutras, that information has no value when you are studying Iko Yanachi.
No, not like that. Anuvrutti, from where it has come from, which sutra it has come to this sutra.
So it's there, right? In Echo Yavayavaha, the Anuvrutti Achi comes from 6177. So all that information is available.
It is there, but in the 77 sutram, it is not appearing. That's what I felt.
In 77 sutra, it will not appear as Anuvrutti. It will appear in the Padacheda. See, the word Achi is appearing in the Padacheda in 77, which will go as an Anuvrutti in 78. Did you get my point?
Yes, I got it. Your point. Whether that is an Anuvrutti or not, we will not find out in that Pradama Saptami Ekavachanam, isn't it?
In Iko
whether
Yanachi,
it is an Anuvrutti.
So your statement is that in Iko Yanachi, it is not possible to find whether Achi is Anuvrutti or not. Correct?
Yes.
What I am saying is, I understand that. The point is, this answer to this question has no value, is what I'm saying. Because Ekavakyata of Iko Yanachi does not need to have the knowledge that Achi is an Anuvrutti in the next sutram. The ekavakyata of echo yavayavaha needs that, and that information is there. You get what I'm saying? So the
Yes.
fact that achi is anuvrutti from ecoenergy is not given in ecoenergy because there is no value that I can perceive. If you tell me there is a value and convince me, I will add it. That's not an issue. But
See,
how many
one of
features?
in one of your homeworks, from where we are getting that anuvrutti, that time we find it difficult.
Correct. So that is correct. So the homework, the question was given so that you can keep on browsing. That's the whole point. And not to increase the
Yes.
number of views, but to make sure that you go through the sutras in sequence and understand how to capture that. I mean,
Okay.
for homework,
Dhanya-
adding that data, it does not make sense. But okay. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
Okay, any more questions? Not there. We are running out of time, but let me go to the Dhatu Patha. So the next point is Dhatu Patha. By the way, now that we are on the Sutra Patha, I will also discuss one important aspect. It is the Ashtadhyayi Parayanam. It's going to be very useful for all of us going down the line in the course. Ashtadhyayi Parayanam has two purposes. One, it will give you view of your Sutra Patha one Adhyaya at a time. So you just want to look at 1.4 without having everything being scrolled up and down. So this is just the entire 1.4. More interestingly is that this is a way for you to listen to the Sutra Patha and memorize it. So there is a very powerful audio player on the top. I'm not going to use it, but I'll explain. So this is the play button. This is the stop button. As soon as you start playing the play button, the sutras will keep on, the audio will keep on running. Akadarade samnya vipratishedhe param karyam and so on. You can change the speed. So for example, if you want to recite faster, akadarade samnya vipratishedhe param karyam, that's also possible. And you can either loop. So for example, you can say that I don't want to listen to all of 110 sutras, but I just want to listen to sutra number. So I want to listen to sutra number 1 to 20. So let me put this 1 over here and 20 over here and keep on looping. So then it will keep on looping from 1 to 20 again and again and again. While looping, if you want to say, I want to repeat the same sutra 5 times. So I want to say akadara deka samnya, akadara deka samnya, akadara deka samnya, and so on 5 times. Then go to vipratishedhe param karyam 5 times. Then you simply change the repeat number. So all that this whole controls is going to say, a lot of changes are done on the top. So let me read it for you. Is going to say that please recite the sutras 1 to 20, which is basically starting from akadara deka samnya up to ayasmayadini chandasi. So from 1 to 20, recite recite this entire set, keep on looping. So after 20, it will go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And while reciting, maintain a speed of 1.7 and repeat each sutram 5 times. So essentially, now let me try playing this, and I don't know if the audio is available or not, but is this audible? Can you hear what is being running? Okay, so I think it is not audible. That's probably because the Zoom doesn't allow to transfer the audios. But let me describe. When I clicked on this, the Akadara Deka Samnya was played 5 times with a speed of 1.7. The way I heard it is Akadara Deka Samnya, like that 5 times. Vipratishade Param Karyam, like that 5 times. So you try it out. So you play around with these controls. This is something that you are going to use starting from the next class, because one of our important goals in the course is to memorize 1.1. And 1.1 is minimum. I want you to memorize the entire chapter 1 if possible, but minimal is 1.1. Prathamadhyayasya prathamah padaha. So you can use this particular control to memorize that. So that's basically Ashtadhyayi Parayanam. Let's go to these other options as well. You have Sutra Prabhedaha, which we all know, Samnya Sutrani, Paribhasha Sutrani, and so on. Ashtadhyayi Shabdanukrama, Vyakhyananveshanam I have shown. So, Parayanam I have shown. Vishishta Sutra Krama Chayanam is just a separate UI for all those Sara Kaumudi, Laghu Kaumudi, Madhya Kaumudi, and so on. So this is basically about the Sutra Patha Sadhanani. Let's now go to the Dhatu Patha. Dhatu Patha, as I mentioned, is the list of Dhatus. We have discussed this in the course. There is a Dhatu in the red color, which is the visible form, Drishya Rupam. Then there is a grey color, Aupadeshika Rupam. Then there is an Artha written by Bhimasena, which is Upalakshanartha only. Then you have Gana, Pada, Karma, set versus Anit versus Vet. You have meaning in English, meaning in Hindi, and so on. You have this particular 1 to 9 button, which will allow you to change the ordering from the Dhatu numbering 1, 2, 3, 4 to alphabetical ordering. Again, why would anybody need alphabetical ordering? I don't know. Some people requested it, so it was easy to implement, so I just implemented it. So change back to the Bhu, Edha, Spardha, and so on, this kind of ordering. The very important, very powerful feature is add filters. I think some of you have already used it, or most of you must have already used it. Dhatu Patha has a feature called add filters, which will allow you to add certain selection criteria with which only specific dhatus can be seen. So you can say Gana, I want to select dhatus only of Juhotyadi Gana, or I want to select dhatus only of Tudadi Gana. As soon as you click the button and change the filter, the header is going to tell you, say 25 dhatus selected, click here to see the list. So for example, let's say we want to find all the Ubhayapadi dhatus of Rudhadigana. Then I click Rudhadigana over here, and then I go to Padam, and then I click Ubhayapadi, and then there are 9 dhatus. I can click over there and I can see the list. The filter icon next to it will tell you that this is a dhatu of Rudhadigana and it is Ubhayapadi. Click on that particular dhatu and you can see the navigation will allow you to move across that filter. So keep on using left and right arrows, and you will move across those particular dhatus. Click on the filter again and it will take you to the filter UI. If you select more than one values in a same section, then it is ORed. So basically, if you say Gana, Rudhadi and Gana Swadi, then it is, you can't have both at the same time. So it will be either Swadi Gana or Rudhadi Gana. Similarly, here you can say either Atmanepada or Ubhayapada and so on. Just a quick, data point. There are around 1,100 dhatus that are Parasmaipadi. There are around 500 dhatus that are Atmanepadi, and there are around 1,000 dhatus that are Ubhayapadi. Let me see if this data is right. Okay. So 500. So wrong filter was selected earlier. Let's clean it up. That's what I got confused over here. See, let's go to Dhatu Patha. Rudhadi filter is being stored. So let's go to Dhatu Patha. Now there are no filters. You add a filter and I can show you that now there are 1,000 dhatus that are Parasmaipadi. There are 500 dhatus Atmanepadi, and there are 500 dhatus that are Ubhayapadi. So some 2 of them were selected, I think, at the same time. Anyway, similarly, you have filter for Idagama, filter for Karma. You also have an advanced option to negate a filter. So basically, 1132 dhatus are Parasmaipadi. You negate that is basically saying non-Parasmaipadi, which is either Atmanepadi or Ubhayapadi. Similarly, you have multiple filters available. Filter based on Idagama, Karma, number of Ach letters, Upadesha. So some of these we have not yet learned in the course. So what is Ekach versus Anekach? What is Shopadesha versus Runopadesha? We are going to study them as the course proceeds. Udattopadesha, Anudattopadesha. The dhatus based on Anubandhas. Dhatus based on the first letter, last letter, second last letter, Upadha. We have not studied Swarthika Pratyas, but it was there in one of the homeworks. So dhatus based on Swarthika Pratyaya. Dhatus prescribed for specific exams. So some of you are, for example, writing Chittur Vichakshana. Just click on Chittur Vichakshana and you can see 46 dhatus prescribed for Vichakshana exam. Dhatus prescribed in different granthas and then Gana Sutras and so on. So lot of different filters are available over here. Somebody is asking, is there a provision to see sutras and its nishedhas and so on? So that kind of filtering or sutras is not yet there. Again, it's a long-term project. If somebody of is in, it needs a scanning for all 4,000 sutras and making the mapping between the two. So maybe it will take a while if somebody of is interested. Again, it's not a 1 week, 2 week job, 6 months of lots of hard work. If anybody of is interested, please reach out. So this is basically the general aspects on the filters and the Dhatu Patha. Then let's go to the individual dhatus. Obviously, you all know this is a drop down over here. All different forms, the normal Kartari and Bhava Karma, Sandanta form, Rijanta form, Yanganta form, Yang Bluganta form. It's okay if you don't understand what these are all. We are going to learn as the course proceeds. Similarly, the Upasargartha Chandrika and so on. You have info for each dhatu, very useful page. We have an info page for each dhatu which will give English meaning, Dhatu Rupa Nandini Tippani. So there is a Sanskrit Bharati book called Dhatu Rupa Nandini. they were kind enough to allow me to take those data from the book and put it on the website. So then whatever is the tippani of that particular dhatu in Dhatu Rupa Nandini, then other typical notes. So some dhatus, for example, have notes. So if you go to, for example, this Gadha dhatu, there is a note about its sakarmatva, sakarmakatva. So then there is a note, there will be some sakarmaka. So pratishtha ityarthe tu akarmaka. It's same written over here. Pratishtha ityarthe tu akarmaka. So these additional notes will be available over there. This plus icon next to the dhatu, which was a recently launched feature, will allow you, let's go to the bhu dhatu, for example, it will allow you to generate the verb forms along with the upasargas. So for example, click on the plus and it will open up a UI on the right hand side. Let's say I want to create the forms of the dhatu bhu with upper, display the results. Go to the kartari prayoga, for example, you see apabhavati, apabhavata, apabhavanti, and so on. You can write, you can combine, so sama plus upper plus bhu. I mean, these are all theoretical. I don't know if these kind of prayogas exist in the literature, but you can do whatever you want. You can keep on adding the upasargas, anu, sama, pabhavati, and so on. So again, there is a very beautiful, very interesting and promising project called Vidyut Prakriya, which has powered all this particular data. There is a question about the Dhatupada which says why there is no Swara Nirdesha, Anudatta, Swarita, Udatta, and so on in the Dhatupata. This is, you won't believe, but this is the one of the most frequent questions that I get from many people. And the answer is that unfortunately there is no authentic Dhatupatha with the Swara markings that I have come across till now. Whatever Swara Dhatupatha, Saswara Dhatupatha that you see in the market are reverse engineered. So remember, the swaras are used to indicate Atmanepada, Ubhayapada, Parasmaipada, or set versus anit. You look at whether the dhatu is set or anit and Parasmaipadi or Atmanepadi, and you make the markings manually. That's called reverse engineering. Any dhatupata that's reverse engineered like this is probably of less value unless I'm convinced that there is an original. I mean, there is nothing wrong in it, but then if it is reverse engineering, there is no point in doing that. The power of having the anubandhas, the swaras, the udatta, anudatta, and so on, is to derive the information called parasmaipadi and akarmaka and so on. If you are doing reverse engineering, it loses its value. So I have not come across any authentic dhatupata where I can be convinced that the swara markings were original, and therefore I have explicitly prohibited swara markings or not added swara markings on the website. Because we don't want to add something just that's being reverse engineered with, and then use that to indicate that the dhatu is Atmanepadi or Bhwadi and so on. There is a question which says, is the Upasarga addition available for all dhatus? Yeah, it means a plus icon. It's a UI feature. So for example, dadha, apa dadha. So apa dadhate, apa dadhete, and so on. Interesting thing is, sometimes Upasarga changes the pada. So for example, if you go to Ji Abhibhave dhatu, you have Jayati, Jayata, Jayanti, but we all know that if you write the V Upasarga, it will be Vijayate, Vijayete. So pada changes. So then all that information is also available. Is this, I mean, the credit doesn't go to me. There's a very smart project called Vidyut Prakriya, which has powered all this data. So all that, I mean, I'm just the face behind this. There's a lot of really smart folks who are working on their own projects. I've just taken bits and pieces, collected, and then added my own commentary on the top of it and presented. But there are a lot of visible and invisible helping hands behind. That reminds me, actually, you should, even if you don't visit anything else, you must visit credits page. I mean, these are all the peoples because of which this website is what this website is. My name appears over here at the end, but that's just for the face of it. So many smart folks who have, I mean, there is no full-time person who works on this. I'm just the only one who works on this. But there are a lot of people, lot of users of the website who come to me, who say that we have some time, I have some time, can I add this feature, or I want to help you, and then I just tell them what is to be done, and they get it done from somewhere, or they do it on their own. So that's how the website has always in progress. It's a community effort rather than just one person. Anyway, coming back to the Dhatu Patha. So you have Upasarga, as I mentioned. You click on any verb and you see the Prakriya in the right menu. There is also Prayoga tab. You can actually see Prayogas. Very small amount of data is available till now, but you can see Prayogas of that particular verb form in various literatures. So that is about the Prakriya. You can actually search using the verb forms. So you can say Babhuva. I think you all know this, but still. For example, if you search for babhuva, you will exactly see the forms for babhuva. Click on any of them, it will take you to that corresponding form babhuva. And then this is where that particular link sharing becomes very useful. So if you are on this page with the babhuva form being highlighted in that cyan color, then if you do the link sharing, the other person will exactly land on this page with the babhuv color in that cyan color. So that's how you can actually share the pages with other contacts. So we talked about search with dhatu forms. You can also search with meanings. So for example, you can say Hindi, jana, hopefully. Now I don't know why. So jana is meaning over here. So this say khelna or say play, to play. I'm just quoting. I never use Hindi or English search. I only use Sanskrit search. But yeah, so there is a play and play. So all these works. Krida is there. So that's all it really matters. So that's about dhatu filters. We have done dhatu forms, meanings, individual dhatu page. We are running out of time. Let's go to the Shabda Patha, probably 10 more minutes. On the Shabda Patha, again, basically all words from Amara Kosha. Every word that appears from Amara Kosha is available over here. So this was actually my long-term dream. Every word, I think there are some 9,000 words. God knows how many words are there. I can't even seem to go down. There's some 9,000 words over here, but you can search for a particular word. Say, for example, Rama. We are going to study the Prakriya of Rama in some of the upcoming classes. So here is the entire Prakriya for Rama. You can click on any individual verb for, Subanta, and you can see the actual Prakriya of Subanta, that particular derivation with proper description. So for example, Chaturthe Ekvachana Vivakshayam Swaujas iti nge pratyayaha suptingannam padamiti padasamya yayadav supratyaya paryadantasya angasya supicheti dirghaha. So I have created this prakriya so as to make it friendly for the readers, for the students. They should exactly understand what is happening in each step. So this is how, this is all programmatically generated. So this is how it has been created. And if you're not interested in the description, you can just toggle this button and you can only see the sutras without any description. The info page will pull the meanings from various koshas. So all details about that particular word is available in the info page. You can also have if that word is discussed in Siddhanta Kaumudi or Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, then the sutras of Siddhanta Kaumudi and Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi are available over here. So obviously Rama is discussed in Kaumudi and Laghu Kaumudi. So all the sutras are also available over here. So you can search with Pratipadikam, you can search with word forms. On the individual Shabda page, there is a Prakriya available and so on. And then other than that, lots of other things. So Ganapatha, you are aware. The search bar will be very useful. So for example, you want to search for say word, say Deva, my favorite word. In the Ganapatha, it's available in the Shrenya Gana and in the Pachadi Gana, and in Deva Visha is available in the Ajadi Gana. I think there was one question in homework for this kind of search bar. So you can do whatever kind of search you want. You can search for, say, for example, Shrenya Adigana, and then you will see the Shrenya Adigana over here. So search bar will be used, can be used to search for any element that is present on that particular page. Then you have Unadi Patha. So hopefully all of you remember Kanthaha, one of the homeworks. So all that you had to do was Kaneshtaha. So Tha Pratyay, you will get Kantha. Similarly, so you can also search for sutras, you can search for pratyayas and so on. So that's Unadi Patha, Linga Anushasanam, Paniniya Shiksha. We all have seen this in our course, Fit Sutrani. So all these pages are available. The entire Amara Kosha is available. So Vyoma Varga, Dig Varga, and so on. You have the entire Upasargartha Chandrika, which is available in the right menu. So let me show this. So for example, pra upasarga 250 dhatus, and then the list of all dhatus with the prayogas, again cross-reference directly to that dhatu and so on. So very interesting cross-referencing is there. Sutra Patha Vyakhyanani I have explained, Sadhanani I explained most of them. Prakarana Ashtadhyayi. So those of you are interested in detailed study of say Krudanta Prakaranam, Tadhita Prakaranam and so on, Vyakarana Lekhaha. One of the scholars has been very kind enough, Acharya Jai Krishna Sharma has been very kind enough to give his probably more than 1,000 recordings of entire Siddhanta Kaumudi. So go through them, all the YouTube videos discussing each aspect of Siddhanta Kaumudi and Bala Manoma commentary in Shastriya Sanskrit in details are available over here. So as I mentioned, this is like a community effort. So many visible and invisible hands are behind this. So Vyakarana Lekha, this is the collection of my own write-ups for students. So this keeps on going. I mean, I keep on adding to this list as and when I get time. As of now, there is like till 62 entries are available over here. Starting from very basic introduction to Ashtadhyayi, brief introduction, Panini Vyakaranasa Grantha Parampara, all Pratyahara, Jit Samnya Prakaranam, and so on, Varna Jnanam, and so on. You might be able to understand some of these, but we are still quite early in our course. You will learn these as the course proceeds. Online courses, I think most of you are probably familiar with all the courses that are going on. Shiksha Sutrani, we have studied Paniniya Shiksha, Laghu Patha, Apishali, Sutras. We have looked at them in the course. Other important books, again, you all have visited these during the course once or twice during the homeworks. Vakyapadiyam, Vaiyakarana Bhushanasara, Laghu Manjusha, Paribhashendu Shekhara, Vyakhyaanato Visheshaprati. My favorite line. Always remember this. Don't, I mean, everybody's homework. Somebody was saying on the group the other day, everybody's homework. I keep on learning something very interesting things. So don't interpret sutras on your own. Vyakhyaanato Vishesha Pratipattir Nahi Sandehada Lakshanam. So we have, this is the only question that has been given in the homework 2 times, because I think this is extremely important to register in mind before we start studying sutras right from the next class. Saraswati Kanthabharanam, that's the Bhoja's book. We have seen this. Bookmarks, study notes, and so on. There are mobile apps. There is an Android app in the Apple's App Store, in the Play Store. And for Apple, there is no direct app on the App Store, but there is a step-by-step process by which you can install the app on your iPhone. So the app is fully supported on iPhone and Android both. Yeah, so that's it. There is a question over here. Is logical or possible in the search tokens? Unfortunately not. Again, this is it's a programming exercise. I'll do it at some point in time, but like logical or say logical or logical and so on are not available. I don't remember if the double quotes are also available. So maybe let's see, Deva Devane2. I don't think the double quotes are also not supported. So Ram, yeah, double quotes are not supported. Spaces and so on are trimmed out. It's basically very basic search feature at the moment. I have not spent more time on search, but we'll think about having a search like Control F and with more regular expressions and so on. That's doable. So that was the running commentary. I think this would have made you more capable of using the website as for the upcoming homeworks and as the course proceeds. If there are any questions today or later on, just feel free to ask. And yeah, that's it from my side. Happy working with this website. And if there are I don't think there are any questions, there are any raised hands. So we'll stop today's class. In tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss the multiple choice exam. Please finish it within next few hours if you have not finished it. But otherwise, I'm just going to stop the submissions and we will grade 0 to all those who have not yet submitted. And we will see the answers to each of the exam question tomorrow. And then starting from next week, we are going to start with the 3rd module where we are going to start the samnyas and paribhashas in Paniniya Vyakaranam. Samapayamaha. I am assuming there are no questions, so let's conclude with the Mangalam. Ashtadhyayi Jagannmata yasya chittat samuttita vedanam upakaraaya tasmai paniniye namaha. Shabda Brahma Samaradhya Kritavanyo Vilakshanam Sarvascharyamidam Shastram Tasmai Paniniye namaha. Yena Dhautagirah Pumsam Vimalesh Shabdavaribhi Tamascha Jnanajam Bhinnam Tasmai Paniniye namaha. Dhanyavadaha. Tomorrow there will be class as usual.